Namaste, my friends, and welcome to morning meditation. My name is Kathleen Osmond. We're continuing our journey into different types of meditation today with a practice called Tonglen. Grab your comfies, maybe your blanket, maybe a sweatshirt, and find a quiet spot away from the pressures and responsibilities of the day, and come join me for morning meditation. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. There we go. Welcome to morning meditation on this rainy, here where I am anyway, in Brampton, rainy Monday morning. So, glad you could make it out and get together with me for another installment of morning meditation. Let's make sure we're comfy. We have some comfortable clothes on, something that makes us feel relaxed. For me, it's my blankie. Maybe for you, it's a pair of comfy socks and a sweatshirt or a snuggly, and you found yourself away from the hustle and bustle of the day, just so you can spend 25, half an hour possibly, just with yourself. Meditation and self-care are so important these days, so I'm glad you've taken the time to spend time in silence with yourself. My gratitude and praise to you, yay, for making it. Let's start simply. We'll close the eyes down, roll the shoulders up to the ears, across to the back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and down they come. 2 more. Big breath in on the up, squeeze them to the back and down. And one last time, up and to the back and down. Feeling a little looser maybe in those shoulders that carry the weight of so many responsibilities. Let's now move to our necks. Right ear towards the right shoulder, inhaling across the back, exhaling across the front. And again, taking that opportunity for that great big breath. We've made all the space as the head rolls across the back, and slow breath out as it comes across the front. And one last time across the back, and one last time across the front. Coming to the center, to that middle position. Let's bring one hand to chest and one hand to belly. We're going to do my happy Buddha breath. As we breathe in, we fill the lungs with air and even the belly, so we have a belly like happy Buddha. And then as we exhale, soften belly first and then chest. Good. Moving to the other side now, left ear, left shoulder. Inhale across the back. Exhale across the front. Inhaling across back. Exhaling across front. Enjoying that wonderful stretch on the long side of the neck as it slowly rolls around on its pedestal on our shoulders. And back to center. Hand back to the chest, hand back to the belly. Breath in, filling lungs and the belly. Breath out, releasing belly and lungs. Good. Now let's keep those eyes closed. We're going to settle into a little bit of a rhythm as I explain to you a little bit about today's meditation. So let's get those eyes to remain closed. We're sitting tall. Those shoulders are stacked over the hips, yet we feel relaxed. And we just settle in and listen to our breath. We're back to our journey of mindfulness and meditation today. And today specifically, we're going to look at a practice called Tonglen. 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 It's defined as a Tibetan Buddhist meditation practice where we give and take, or send and receive, actually a bit of both. Similar to the loving kindness and compassion meditation we did a couple of weeks ago, this practice also encourages us to connect with others. Tonglen actually invites us directly into the tender heart of suffering and compassion, and also allows us to work on our own ability to perceive and be present with our own suffering and the suffering of others. In this way, those things we usually resent, resist, or ignore, that actual presence of suffering, become our tool to help us open our minds and hearts. This practice asks us to breathe in the pain of others, along with the wish to relieve their suffering. We follow that by an exhalation of happiness, joy, and love that's intended to bring this person relief. It can also give us valuable opportunities to tune in and overcome obstacles that may be preventing us from expressing and experiencing compassion and empathy. When we recognize that others suffer as we do, it ignites our kindness and openness. Tonglen is a rich practice, but it is also tender. For some of us, it can feel very overwhelming, and it's best to practice only when you feel comfortable enough to do so. If, for example, you're feeling powerless in the face of the world's current suffering, remember, there's something we can all do to help practice Tonglen. The Dalai Lama actually has said, whether this meditation, and by this he refers to Tonglen, whether this meditation really helps others or not, it gives me peace of mind, then I can be more effective, and the benefit is immense. The practice is equally beneficial when we too feel suffering or isolation. It's a brilliant antidote for self-pity. Note to self, self-pity is not the same as self-compassion. Dr. Kristen Neff. Self-pity tends to be more egocentric and ignores the interconnected nature of our suffering, that's better, and our happiness. It can also overemphasize and exaggerate our personal struggle. On the other hand, self-compassion arises from the intent to be loving. It invites us into a mind space in which the broader context of our shared human suffering is held in perspective. The practice of Tonglen is another way to reverse the flow of ego and to transform such thinking into true compassion and equanimity. So let's give Tonglen a try. Readjusting first, if you need to find that comfy spot. If our eyes are not closed, we close them now as we sit tall yet relaxed. Let's enjoy 3 full slow breaths. Feeling the abdomen rise as we inhale, and allowing the body to soften fully as we exhale. As the breath begins to settle into that comfortable and natural rhythm, we feel grounded in the present moment. It's best that we do a little bit of a meditation before we get into Tonglen, So today we're going to extend our 5 senses a little bit longer just to get us in that right frame of mind. So as we continue to breathe, let's begin with sight. What do we see behind our closed eyes as we sit quietly in our comfy place, away from the responsibilities of the day? Perhaps shapes, perhaps colors, perhaps shadows, or maybe nothing. As we've learned from our many previous practices, even if we see nothing, that is our experience and that is perfectly fine. Whatever you see behind your closed eyes is your experience. So let's take another final breath. And let's move on to hearing. What do you hear around your physical presence today? Are there perhaps birds outside? Maybe if you're like me, you can hear the rain. Perhaps the neighbor's car, or the neighbors themselves getting ready for the day. Children on the way to school. Maybe you hear the air conditioning kick in. We'll take a few breaths as we sit with the sounds around us. Moving on to now what we feel against our body. The clothes against your skin. The floor beneath your tush. Or perhaps a mat. Or your bolster if you're like me and sit on a pillow. Can you feel the air conditioning? I have a vent relatively close to me, so I can actually feel the air conditioning sometimes coming out. Maybe you don't have air conditioning, maybe you feel a draft from the door. Or the pitter-patter of the rain on the roof, as I hear right now. Taking a deep breath in and out. And even if you feel nothing, take a moment to be thankful for the experience, for the opportunity to sit in self-care and feel whatever it is. Now we move on to smell. What do we smell right now with our nose? Are there the beginnings or maybe the remnants of breakfast in the air? Maybe you have flowers or plants in the room, like I do. Can you smell them? Or the markers. I have a whiteboard in my room where I write a number of my lesson plans. And oftentimes I can smell the markers after I've written out my plans. Or maybe there's something else uniquely to your room that you smell. Even if it's nothing, that's okay. In itself, that is your experience. Now let's move to what I personally find is the most challenging one. Taste. Is there anything that you taste on your tongue right now? Again, I'm going to suggest perhaps the remnants of breakfast if you were able to eat before we practice today. Maybe you're a gum chewer and you can still taste gum. Coffee, tea, Or maybe you taste nothing. All of those are fine. Now that we've moved through a little bit longer of a 5 senses practice, let's try our Tonglen. We're going to begin with a loved one. Here we bring to mind someone who we know and want to help. Perhaps a child who's struggling in school, or a friend who's experiencing relationship problems, or a family member who's suffering from depression. Somebody that you know, that you feel strongly about, that you want to help. On an inhale, take in the heaviness of that loved one's suffering, giving them space for relief and healing. It's not necessary to have a specific word to describe the suffering. It can simply be just a feeling, perhaps of darkness, heat, or heaviness. On the exhale, we breathe out love, peace, or any other positive idea that you believe would help bring that loved one comfort. Imagining and allowing your kindness and compassionate love to fill them. You might want to visualize this out breath as white in color or having a cool temperature. Not necessary, just a suggestion. Some people like it that way. Now let's contemplate our own physical or emotional suffering and consider we're not alone. Other people feel and suffer just as we feel and suffer. Again, taking that inhale, allowing it to absorb the suffering from ourselves and from others. And as we exhale, exhaling love, not only for ourselves, but others as well. And now we move our visualization to someone we feel neutral about, like the bus driver, maybe a classmate, a cashier at the grocery store. Even though we don't know the details specifically of this person's life, we imagine how they can struggle and suffer at times, just like we have. Taking that inhale, taking their heaviness and their suffering to give them space for healing and relief. And as we breathe out love, peace, or any other positive idea or feeling that we feel would provide comfort to that person, now let's move on to the tricky one. I'm sure you knew it was coming. And I don't like this word, but I'm going to use it. An enemy. Now we're visualizing someone with whom we've had some type of conflict. I prefer that to saying enemy, but somebody where we've had conflict, we don't feel good about that relationship at this time. And even though we might have potentially strong negative feelings towards this person, we're going to take a moment now to imagine how they too have struggled or suffered at times, just as we have and do. And we take a moment to consider that they want to be happy just like us. Again, on the inhale, we take in the heaviness of their suffering, giving them that much needed space for relief and healing. Breathing out, we breathe out peace, love, or any other positive idea that we feel would bring this person comfort. Just as we too wish comfort and relief from our own suffering. And finally today, we work through all beings, contemplating the suffering of the world and all beings. Those who suffer from poverty, injustices, perhaps the afflictions of their own minds. Take a moment to contemplate your aspirations for the world, for humanity in general. And taking that deep breath in, take the heaviness of the suffering of the world, of humanity, including yourself. Breathe it all in. Be that gift of release and relief. And as we breathe out with full awareness, letting our loving intentions keep on radiating outward, allowing residual heaviness and suffering to be transformed by our love in our out-breath. Sending peace and awareness to the world. Extending our genuine wish that all beings might feel at peace. Awesome job. Now we rest, just for a moment. We did some deep and meaningful work today. When with our eyes still closed, we continue to breathe with full awareness, allowing our loving intentions to keep radiating outward and feeling any residual heaviness and suffering to be transformed by our deep and great and vast love. And now we'll rest for a few moments in this openness of peace. We don't need to call anyone or anything specific to mind here. We're simply continuing to breathe in that relief that we've provided to not only ourselves, but all of humanity. And as we end our practice today, we slowly expand our awareness from our breath. We'll return just briefly to our senses to ground. What do you hear around you? Is there, or perhaps not, a taste in your mouth? Can you smell anything in particular around your physical presence right now? Can you feel the touch of something against your skin? And what, if anything, do you see behind your closed eyes? And now Now, as we fully feel the physical presence of our body in the room, we drop our chin down towards our chest. Slowly open the eyes. And back up we come. Now that we've had a chance to experience Tonglen, I suggest taking it with you into everyday life. This practice can be done on the spot, anywhere, while we're sitting beside someone who is ill, possibly dying, or even just passed away. Anytime you see someone in pain, this is another opportunity to notice the world around us. You may become aware of the stress, unhappiness, fatigue, or even anger on the faces of people next to you on the bus, on the GO train, or even in the elevator. Perhaps you feel their energy. I know I do. I get into situations where I'm with people and I can feel sensations of their energy. Sometimes good, sometimes not good. Allow yourself to open up, to empathize with them, and to share a little of their pain and suffering, some empathy, and a little of that wonderful love you carry in your soul. I see you, my friends, full of love, peace, and kindness. Share your gifts with the world. The world will be better because of your share. And finally, I extend my weekly invitation to you. A little bit of a reminder to remember to sit in silence. Use any of the practices we have tried to date, or perhaps you have one that you like in particular. If that one resonates with you, that's the one you go to, even if you have a few moments. Sitting for a moment in a quiet place, walking and breathing. It's beautiful outside here in the summer. Take a moment, walk and breathe. Look at the clouds in the sky. See the trees, the grass, the plants. Hear the birds. Feel the warmth of the sun on your face. Dance in the rain. Good day to do it today here. Intentionally take that screen break at work. Those of us working either at home or at the computer, take the break. Move the eyes, get up, walk around, get a glass of water. Break, break, break. So important. Now, as we close our meditation practice for today, let's bring our hands to heart center. A little bit of a rub. Settling them in, we take that great big deep breath in. Filling the lungs with fresh energy, fresh prana. And we exhale and relax. Namaste, my friends. I bring you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need, and I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from the highest source, and I salute that source in you. Let us work together for unity and love. Thank you again, Mahatma Gandhi. Have a wonderful week. Find some time for yourself, and I hope to see you back next week for another morning meditation. Ciao for now, my friends. Thank you for joining me for morning meditation. I hope you came out of Tonglen with a good feeling. It's a lot. Even the loving kindness meditation, if you've done it with me previous, I know I feel after it a little bit, because there is a lot of suffering going on in the world. And when we take a moment to sit in it, sometimes it's a lot. So if you feel like it was a lot, that's okay. And if you feel super fantastic, awesome, wonderful, 2 thumbs up for you. You've done an awesome job of sharing that feeling with the world. So take a moment, please like the video, hit the bell, be subscribed. I try and release a new video at least once a week. It might be twice a month in the summertime. We're not sure. We do our best. Check out any of the other videos on the site. We have Kundalini, we have chair, and now we have meditation. So thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a wonderful day. Oh, I also wanted to mention, below the video, there's a link to a Facebook group where myself and a number of other teachers teach free. All you do is request to be invited, answer a few super simple questions. This is not rocket science, people, and be admitted into the group to enjoy all of the health and wellness initiatives there for free. Have a wonderful day, my friends, and I hope to see you again for morning meditation. My name is Kathleen Osmond.